Okay, today we're talking about how to train smart, stay strong, and balance your performance and nutrition through the holiday season. So, the reality is you can enjoy the holidays and perform well if you focus on the right things, right? Um, if you're training for DECA or High Rocks or a half marathon or whatever, but suddenly it's the holiday season and now your calendar is full of travel and parties and food that doesn't exactly scream performance nutrition, right? It's time to remember that the goal is not to be perfect, right? We're never shooting for perfect. The goal here, especially during this season, is to keep your foundation strong so that your training doesn't lose momentum. So today we're going to talk about how to balance your body composition goals, performance, and life during this busy season. So the important thing is right now we are in a performance phase, right? So again, we're not looking for perfection here. We're focused on performance. This is for you if you have something on the calendar, whether that something is in December or January, right? Because January is right around the corner. It's going to be here before we know it. So if that is you, you are in a performance phase. This is not time to cut. And I know we talked about that in the last episode. So feel free to go back and listen to that as well. But as a reminder, trying to train intensely while eating in a calorie deficit is a stress overload on the body. It's going to lead to poor recovery, poor immune system, and weaker training sessions. And I don't know about you, but I don't want another thing adding to the fact that I might catch the cold or flu during this cold or flu season, right? So make sure that you're fueling your body well. Your body also cannot build and burn at the same time, right? So choose performance first in this season. And remember, fueling well is a part of training. This is a part, or should be a part, of your training strategy. And finally, again, as a reminder, leaner does not always mean faster or stronger, especially if you are under stress, especially if your stress is heightened during this busy holiday season. Um, so we're really looking to train with intention here and to not be guilty when things don't work out, right? So again, choose your what we're calling your anchor sessions. So that could be 2 to 3 key workouts a week that you make sure are non-negotiable no matter what. Depending on who you are and what your training goals are, they can be a DECA sim day, a strength training day, or maybe your zone 2 training or your my zone training sessions. Also, don't panic if you miss a session, right? Recovery or light movement still counts as supporting yourself through the season. But consistency is going to be intensity during chaotic weeks. Okay. So again, choose your non-negotiables. So for example, for a lot of you, that's going to be 2 strength training days, 1 interval day. So again, like a DECA or High Rock session, and getting your daily movement in. So making sure that you're getting up from your desk and moving around throughout your day, getting those steps in. When it comes to fueling, the goal is to fuel to perform, not to restrict, right? So food is your energy, not your enemy. So before your training days, especially if it's a hard training day, if you're coming in on Saturday, that is a hard training day. We need you to be eating carbs and protein before your session. Also, after your session, we want you to replenish your body with more carbs and more protein, okay? This is going to help you recover and build. If you underfuel now, your workouts are going to feel flat, your mood is going to dip, and you're going to crave sugar later. And in this season, we all know there's no shortness of holiday treats available, right? So if you're already have the craving and it's more readily available to you, what do you think is going to happen, right? So get ahead of that by fueling your body properly. Again, if you're training in the morning, we want you to prioritize carbs before bed for better glycogen stores and better sleep. If you are, working out later in the morning or just generally later in the day, we do want you to have a pre-workout snack. So that could be something like a rice cake with almond butter. It doesn't have to be anything super heavy. I know a lot of us are worried about, GI upset or things like that. But then also your post-workout is just as important. So even something as simple as a protein shake and a banana, not one or the other, or a real meal, right? So if you're working out in the morning, coming home and having your breakfast right away, instead of delaying that until like later in the morning, or not having anything until lunchtime. Okay, we really want to make sure that we're eating after our workouts so that we can build our bodies back up. I would be remiss here if I didn't mention hydration and sleep, right? So holiday drinks, caffeine, and stress can all dehydrate you, which, you guessed it, hurts your performance. So before an event or long workout, hydrate with electrolytes. We have electrolyte samples in the gym. If you have questions about what kind of electrolyte you should be using, make sure that you ask. But especially if you are someone that identifies as a heavy sweater, if you are the one that is leaving puddles in the gym, this message is specifically for you. But even if that's not you and you just sweat like a normal amount, we still want to make sure that you are getting in that hydration. And sleep, right? So making sure that we're sleeping minimum 7 to 8 hours, even more than that if you are in a stressful season, or if you are really trying to focus on your recovery, even stretching that to 9 hours is going to be really helpful. So 7 to 8 hours is the minimum. That is not the top of what we're looking for. Okay, so if you're someone that's sleeping 4, 5, 6 hours, I encourage you to work on getting those hours in. Sometimes we think if we're sleeping a lot, it feels a little bit lazy. Recovery is not lazy. This is what allows your training to pay off, right? We are rebuilding our body back up in our sleep. We are repairing those damaged muscles, and it's so, so important to our performance. In this holiday season, especially, weight loss can be a trap. So cutting now can really backfire on you. And when I say cut, I mean cutting calories or cutting carbohydrates like a lot of us tend to do. During high intensity training, restricting your calories or restricting your carbohydrate intake can lead to lower strength and stamina, increased cortisol, which is our stress hormone, and it can also impair immune function. So again, this is sick season. We don't want you getting sick and then pushing through training and overburdening your system with stress. We also don't want you getting sick and missing important training sessions, right? So again, it's really important to make sure that we are fueling properly so that we prevent ourselves from hopefully getting sick in the long run. I encourage you, instead of focusing on weight loss, I do encourage you to focus more on body recomposition, building lean muscle mass, and really tightening up naturally through better fueling and better recovery. So again, body composition can come in all different forms. It does not always come in the form of weight loss. So if you have a number in your head and you're trying to get down to it, I encourage you to throw that number in the trash and get on the SciQ, and let us review those numbers with you so that you can be more realistic about what's actually happening and what your goals should or maybe should not be. Again, we're not chasing the scale, okay? I know that it's tempting, but I encourage you through this holiday season, specifically if you're training for something, chase performance metrics, right? Focus on getting faster, focus on faster transitions, especially if you're doing a team event, focus on lifting heavier, and focus on having a steadier heart rate, right? Focus on getting through your training session without spending the whole thing in red if you're wearing your Mizone, right? Focus on spending more time in blue or green if during those more moderate, lower intensity sessions. Sometimes it can feel like if we're just maintaining, it feels like a little bit of a setback because we always want to be increasing, right? We want to be getting faster. We want to be getting stronger, but sometimes maintenance is a strategy, right? So this season, this holiday season for you could be a really good time to focus on just maintaining what you've worked so hard to build all year long, right? So instead of worrying about really pushing yourself to the limit to get this much faster or this much stronger, now is a great time to focus on just maintaining, again, what you've worked so hard to build this entire year. So if you can hold your training level, hold your body recomposition, and maintain your energy through the holidays, you're going to start in the new year ahead of everyone else who is starting over, right? So everyone else who is not coming to the gym as often and indulging more often than they think that they are, or, really throwing the towel in on their nutrition altogether and just, YOLO, you are starting ahead of them heading into the new year. And that in itself is a win. So just to recap here, we are spending this holiday season prioritizing our performance over restriction, sticking to our anchor workout sessions, fueling and rehydrating intentionally, and redefining success as staying strong, not small. So if this resonates with you, I encourage you to, again, set up a time to chat with Missy or one of our other coaches, or go ahead and schedule a time to get on the StyQ so that we can go ahead and really take a good look at your body measurements and see what is a good goal for you right now. What are we trying to maintain, right? Maybe you've built up more muscle than you realize over the last couple of months since the last time you've got on, or maybe you've never had a StyQ before and all of this is brand new information. Again, I really encourage you to take that step. But otherwise, I hope that you have a happy, safe, and healthy holiday season, and good luck in your event coming up.